Okay, so we're on part 2 of how you can tell if someone has a dark entity attachment slash demon possession. We already discussed in part 1 that the most common possession is a dark entity attachment because they actually need a vessel to do what they need to get done. So we discussed in part 1 that they have lack of energy, but really I feel like I mean stamina. Like they have lack of stamina. But age and weight can be a contributing factor. So that's just one of the signs, but you have to use your third eye. So if you know, you know. Memory loss was another one. And I mean, we all have like our bouts of memory loss, but from what I noticed, it's typically things that like should be core memories, or like you should at least have some memory recall. And in most cases, they lack memory recall. It may come later, but from what I notice, it's like completely gone. Like certain things or certain aspects of their life, it's just very hard for them to remember. Especially under the age of like 60, then that's a definite sign that there is an entity attachment. And we also said poor decision making. They typically make decisions that could harm themselves or others, but that's really the entity that's driving them to do those harmful things, but making the vessel think that it's a grand idea. So number 4 on that list is going to be, what do I want to say? They're manipulators. So we're dealing with mind control spirits. So they are constantly wanting to mind control you. Like they want to control situations. They want to control pretty much everything, to the fact that they are very covert, to make sure things go the way they want them to go. They manipulate people. They'll find the way to manipulate the person or people. They're very manipulative because ultimately that entity needs to feed on as many people as possible. It needs as many vessels as possible. So the ultimate goal is, if they coerce you into something or get you to agree to their way of life, way of thinking or whatever, you'll ultimately end up slowly picking up that entity attachment, because that's the energy that they created. That's what they ultimately wanted to happen. So they're drawing you into their energy. Bipolar behavior, mood swings, because sometimes they go in and out. Sometimes they're themselves, and then sometimes the entity takes over and like they do weird things. So, mood shifts, mood swings, like they're saying one thing and always thinking another thing. So just gonna have to be careful about that. So like I said in part 1, dark entity attachments are pretty easy to remove because they pretty much stem from unhealed traumas, long story short, childhood trauma, etc., etc. Like I said, they also like to go through lineage. They pass through generation, or they like to attach through like generations. So that's why I say it's pretty easy to do if you're willing to do the work. You have to do the hard stuff. I know we keep hearing it, but shadow work. You're going to have to do the work. You're going to have to heal the trauma. You're going to have to be what your parents weren't. You're going to have to, find out how to love without the person that you thought you were going to live the life with. Like, it's that kind of work that removes the entity. Self-reflection, awareness. Now, don't sleep on ritual, because our ancestors have been doing rituals since the beginning of time. So, limpias, cleansings, spiritual baths, candle clearing, like all of that can help. It does take time. So this may take several rounds of, doing work and cleansings and trauma healing. But it could be done. Demonic possession, on the other hand, That's a little darker. I'll come back for that.